This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy 9/11.
Is that a happy thing?
I mean, it's a holiday, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got the day off today, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy how they worked it out. So it fell on a Sunday, and we could take the day off.
Yeah, that's
on
nice.
this wonderful holiday known as the Memorial Anniversary. What is it? 21 years from
21
9/11?
years, yes.
21 years since September 11th, 2001. Since the great whatever we're calling it these days, the great incident.
It's funny. Well, not funny.
It is
choice of
funny.
words.
No, it is funny actually.
But
like that, you could just end the statement there. It's like it's funny. It is. It really is.
But there hasn't really been any mentions of 9/11.
There hasn't been a whole lot going on with 9/11. Like,
yeah.
you haven't seen-
Usually you see, I don't know. Usually you hear or see some stuff. Is that Shannon? Shannon's visiting us on a Sunday?
Shannon is here on a Sunday.
Wow.
She is driving, and she only texts and drives during the day, so we won't get much input from her. But she is here, so we know that
that's
she is
awesome.
here.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, Shannon.
Definitely.
And make sure you jump in when you stop driving. We don't want to be responsible for your untimely death.
Yes,
So
yes.
anyway,
But
carry
no,
on.
so, I mean, there hasn't been a lot said about 9/11 today, whereas typically it's like the first 20 years, every 9/11, people are like, let's remember, let's listen to the sounds of the day, and then today it's just nothing.
The sounds of the day. Or we listen
Like,
to the people screaming. And
Oh God!
Meow. Oh man, like I said, you could have stopped with "it's funny" because I feel like all the bullshit that we're dealing with today started September 11th, 2001, and
You're not wrong.
I'm not insensitive to think that to like put down like the people that actually did die. If you subscribe to the story that people died in it, some people don't. I think people legitimately died.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the mainstream narrative because there's just so much bizarreness out there, and I've dug into it too much. I mean, I believed it all the way up to probably like 5 years ago, and then. But I'd never heard of Tower 8 either. And once I heard of Tower 8, or Tower 7, is it 7 or 8?
It's 7.
7. God, hopefully there's not a Tower 8. When I actually read about Tower 7, it was just like eye-opening. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, how did that? And then all of a sudden, it was just like, almost instantly, it's just like, all the credibility went out the window with it, because it's just like, you have this tower that was barely mentioned that fell because papers were on fire.
Right.
Was the original narrative, because a bunch of like papers in there caught on fire and it burned hot enough to make an entire building collapse. And oh yeah, by the way, they announced on the news that Tower 7 fell when the tower was clearly standing behind the woman as she was announcing it. And it's just things like that. That's just like, yeah, well, once you start like questioning like one part of it, you got to question all of it at that point. So again, I'm not insensitive against the people. I know this is a terrible day to like come out and be a 9/11 truther, because there are still people out there probably that.
I would say a good portion of the country still.
So I mean, there is a lot more people I think question it now than in 2001.
Yeah. Well, there's so much out there that is brought up to question it. But
right. I just forgot to take down Shannon saying that we're her favorites, so we're just gonna leave that up the whole show
we
to
might
point
as well
out.
just leave it
or
out.
point out
Yeah.
where Shannon's
We'll just
favorites.
flash it up there every so often.
She also said Bill meant the reading of the names, moment of silence, etc. No,
yeah.
Bill meant what he said. Don't put words in Bill's mouth.
No, but it's true though. Usually there's ceremony, and like I said, usually even during the football games, they come out halftime show or something, and be like, let's not forget what today was, 21 years ago.
And you watched the first Steelers game today,
I
right?
did, yeah.
And nothing like that.
Nothing.
What do you think the reason is for that?
It's been 20 years. I think they're just like, okay, well,
But
we've mixed it. Now we have January 6th that we need to focus
That's
on
fair.
as a tragedy. We don't
That
need
is
to look
fair.
back at 9/11 anymore.
No, but we still look back at Pearl Harbor, and that was like 85 years ago. We still look back at the 4th of July, and that was like 270 some years
4th
ago.
of July was a win.
I understand that, but we still look back at some of these horrible.
We do.
I don't know. It's
But
almost,
maybe it's because of the fact that they don't want people to keep remembering September 11th.
well, what did we all come out as after September 11th? We all came out as patriots,
We
and now
came out
patriots.
as a Coke commercial the first couple weeks, and
well,
then
obviously, but no, we were all patriots on
right.
9 on
And I think
September
they
11th.
actually named today Patriot Day. Isn't today like Patriots Day? Is that the
Probably.
official term for it?
I don't know,
I think
but
Obama
anyway,
termed it that way.
Patriot is a derogatory term now, so we
Right.
can't
You're right.
combine us with patriots.
That's
and,
true.
and 9/11 made us all patriots,
That's true.
so made us all terrorists, I guess. So, I don't know, just the narrative shift, not from 9/11, but for the
Look.
country in general. It's just almost like, well, look at all the. I mean, so many people are coming out against like the shitty things that we did during the Afghanistan and Iraq wars, and and obviously, I mean, when did we pull out of Afghanistan? When were we supposed to pull out of Afghanistan? You remember?
Originally? Oh, I don't remember.
When Biden wanted to pull us out of Afghanistan.
Oh,
originally.
yeah.
It was last year.
Right. It was like
September 11th.
May or something.
No, it was supposed to be.
Oh, that's right. It was
9/11
yes.
last year.
Yeah, it was supposed to be May, and then Biden came into office, pushed it to September 11th for the symbolism, and
then it pushed even further.
Yeah.
But I guess if you focus too much on 9/11, you got to focus, obviously, on the failed war in Afghanistan, too, and nobody wants
Yeah.
to spend any time talking about that more. So.
I mean, and let's face it. I mean, after September 11th, we really did become more of a police state. Right?
Obviously.
The Patriot Act.
Like, completely,
right?
100%
right.
more.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Where emails are watched, they can do the Pfizer warrants now where they don't even need to have court approval. They can just, hey, these guys are suspicious. Can we get a warrant to go search their shit? I mean, and police became militarized, right, to go after Homeland Security.
And now we're
put into
like
place.
anti-police. Now we're
Right, where police and fire department
Anti-patriots.
and health workers were the big heroes of 9/11, right? And now police are not heroes. Now they're the big villains.
yes. So there's a lot of. I guess if you hyper focus on 9/11, then there's a lot of irony that goes with where our mentality. They're pushing our mentality. The mainstream media is pushing our mentality. I'm waiting for the shift in the mainstream media that against like our response to 9/11 to come out and be like because we say our response was ridiculous, but I'm waiting for the shift how we just used this event to do what we did and just go bomb brown people and just the whole woke to just flip on itself. And I'm waiting. I'm giving it within a couple years before this becomes not even a celebrate. I'm not a celebrated thing like we're celebrating, but like a no longer a memorialized thing. But now it's the stain on American history because of our response to it. And it's just how this country operates. It's like. We do a thing, we celebrate this thing, and then like a few years down the road, it's like, oh, that thing was bad, and it was. Our response was horrible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it was, you and I both know that our response was much more than what it pretended to be.
Oh yeah, and it was more than just about the buildings falling and the Pentagon not getting hit by a plane.
And it was much more about a proportionate response. It was much more than taking a proactive step towards taking care of people who hate our freedom. It was about money. It was about power, and it was about getting more control over the American people.
Yeah. So
It was
I just feel like and like I wouldn't have a problem with the mainstream shift, and it was like, hey, this is kind of like our response to this is kind of a stain on our history. But it's going to be the same goddamn people that push the narrative, the same
Right.
like politicians that have been in office for like 75 years that pushed for this response are going to come out and be like, oh, we should be ashamed of ourselves. It's like, you guys are the ones that, and that's the infuriating thing.
Yeah.
It's not the shift of mentality that we should have and realize, hey, this was not what it should have been. But it's the people that did it that are going to turn around and be like, oh, America should be ashamed of yourself. I'm just waiting for that and give it maybe
it'll
2
come.
years.
To me, the infuriating part is September 11th was a huge shift for me personally, right? I mean, to be at work and hear about your country being under attack, right? And then all of a sudden to go into a mode of, okay, nothing is safe, nothing is sacred, and
Sure.
Being on guard, like, because you don't know what the next step is. It's about having to install fire alarms in Muslim temples because
Right.
they're concerned that there's going to be a reprieve. It's about having a Venezuelan coworker that people are asking me, what country is he from?
I remember that. Yeah, like every slightly brown person.
Yeah.
It's like, where are they from?
Right. So,
Now-
but the fact that it was all played off of that, right? I mean, all this huge sense of patriotism and this sense of like pride in your country and this whole coming together, this whole Coke can moment.
But you can't
And
have
it was-
that anymore. So
Well, I know, but that's the problem though, because now anytime something happens, you're going to go back to that moment and be like, okay, false flag, manufactured.
Right.
Are they playing off our emotions again, trying to make us artificially come together
Right.
just so they can tear us all apart again?
God damn it, is Dick Cheney still alive?
Right?
As the title suggests, however, this is not our 9/11
No,
episode.
that's tomorrow.
Yes. Because
This is just a taste.
we're not really good at planning ahead. Well, like you said, there was no really big build up to this is 9/11 memorial or anniversary
and maybe
coming
that's
up.
because it's on a Sunday, right?
Yeah,
If
maybe.
it was during the week, all the talk shows and people would talk about it and stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
possible. But we're not going because I said, you can't pick apart the shit and like do the truther stuff. And the day of really, I mean, I could do it, but I don't know that a lot of people would want to hear that on 9/11. But that's not why I didn't do it. It's just because we didn't plan ahead mostly. So we are going to do and it's not really a topic to discuss on the weekend wrap up where we spend 5 minutes per 10 minutes per topic. Like there's so much more to this. And I have so many opinions about this now and new stuff that I've heard just this last week regarding like conspiracy theories involving this that I really want to kind of dig deep. We haven't done our own personal 9/11 episode. I've done them on my brother's show and done them on other shows before and talked about it, but we haven't really focused on it here. So I want to dedicate a whole episode, a 9/11 episode on 9/12 tomorrow. So make sure you join us for that. That's going to be live tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's going to be our 9/11 tribute. And tomorrow I'm not going to feel bad about. I'm not going to pull any punches, really. I'm going to, and I don't. We haven't really discussed it, me and you, either too in depth. So I don't know where you stand on the conspiracy theory side of it and stuff. So I want to take a look at some of these and really discuss like where our thoughts are about the incident. And if you're a 9/11 denier or truther or whatever you're calling it, we're going to discuss it tomorrow night. Shannon says she was in a classroom with 4 and 5-year-olds. We're reading a book upside down like George W. Bush. To know that some of them went into the military to fight for what? And then she says, you need Dave Casey on. I'll send you his pod from last year. Yes, that would be awesome. So the last thing the last thing involving this great day of 9/11 is this this heartfelt tribute post that I saw on the Twitters today. So here. it's a picture of a plane next to looks like the Pentagon, and it says, "Believe in something, even if it makes no sense." And that's really all I got to say about 9/11 today. I mean, we could just sit here and go back and forth, but
Yeah.
let's save it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anything else on this before we move on? Because obviously the news thinks there's more interesting. Like even us looking up news, like how many of the major news websites had just pages of 9/11 stuff? There was like nothing. There's like maybe a little clip.
There was, and even on my own page, there was only a handful of people, saying, "Hey, remember what today was," and that was it. So.
Most of what I've seen on social media, maybe it's because of the friends I surround myself with. Most of them were just like posts like this that are like shitty memes, like truther type memes and stuff. So. Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of, hey, remember this?
Right. Yeah.
Gone
Never
but not
forget or something like
gone
that.
but not
yeah.
forgotten.
Yeah.
It's kind of just come and gone.
Yeah. Actually, the biggest thing I saw was a former MLB pitcher who left the big leagues to be a police officer and got killed in a car accident on the way to
the memorial today.
Yeah.
That sucks. So let's move on because we can. On that note, let's move on. This actually relates to 9/11, so I guess we could talk about it today. Apparently, 5 Guantanamo Bay prisoners accused in the 9/11 attacks could get plea deals, which I guess I didn't realize there were still 9/11 people still in Guantanamo. I knew it was still open, but I knew they still had brown people in there that they were still torturing, but I didn't realize there was still 9/11 related ones there. So they could be getting plea deals. And if it sounds like, oh, they feel bad for them, or oh, we want, I don't know. It's not. It's never what it appears to be, because this is hilarious. This is from CBSNews.com. So let's take a look at the plea deal.
Okay.
And I would think people would be a little outraged that they would even offer a plea deal for these people, but at the end of the day, it makes sense. Because it says, on the 21st anniversary of 9/11, CBS News has confirmed that the military prosecutors and attorneys for 5 defendants charged for their role in the attacks are negotiating potential plea deals that could take the death penalty off the table. So it's like, oh, we tortured them enough, right? Yeah. So do we really need to kill them? We could just like keep them locked up. So it's not, oh, we feel bad for them or we've done enough. It's nothing like that. Because it says, could take the death penalty off the table and keep the detention camp at the military base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, open for the foreseeable future. So it's just like, guys, we got to keep these people alive, because if they're alive, where are we going to house them? Right. Obviously, the only place we can keep them is in Guantanamo Bay, yeah. So we can't. Sorry, guys. I know we promised. I know Obama promised. Who was it? Was it Obama?
It was Obama. Yeah, Obama
to close,
made the big push to close it down.
But do you think any of them actually want to close it down?
Well, okay. Who do you think they're going to put in there in the foreseeable future? More brown people?
Us.
Yes.
The domestic terrorists, and that's what I said. I was like, yeah, we got to keep it open until we start cracking down on the domestic terrorists.
Yes.
Because then we have a place. Because if we close it prematurely, then where are we going to put all the freaking white supremacists?
You can't keep white supremacists in America. You gotta send them someplace where nobody will care about them.
It says, their cases have stalled over access to CIA evidence and, more recently, delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The chief defendant is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the self-described architect of 9/11. The other 4 defendants are Ramzi, a name. I'm just going to give their first names.
Smith.
Ramzi, Mustafa, and Walid, and Amar. Says the possibility of a plea deal has angered the families of some 9/11 victims. You think so? You think they're just like, oh yeah, just let them live. I mean, they paid their debt to society. That's fine. It says, including Deborah Burlingame, whose brother, pilot Charles Chick Burlingame, was killed when Al-Qaeda terrorists took over his plane, American Airline Flight 77, and crashed it into the Pentagon. Yeah, okay. We didn't have remains for weeks, his sister told CBS News. We were constantly saying to each other, what would Chick want? What would Chick do? WWCD, we need to get bracelets. Sorry, I have no seriousness for this conversation. So if you do, I apologize. She said she has been in touch with other 9/11 families. The families are outraged, she said, of the possibility of plea deals. They don't want closure. They want justice. So do you think it's anything more than, hey, we just want to keep Guantanamo Bay open and this is really the only way to do it?
Well, think about it this way. Did they even really need to say this? Like you said, you didn't even know there were people still there. Mm-hmm. They didn't need to say anything. They could have just kept it running, kept their people in there. Hell, they could have catapulted them over to Cuba and nobody would have said anything.
Right.
I mean, because nobody even knew there were still people there. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they're even coming out with this article makes you gotta wonder
why are they doing this?
Why are they making this announcement?
And the fact that the very first sentence in that paragraph says, and keep Guantanamo Bay open for the foreseeable future. It's like you just laid out your reasoning for it. It's nothing more than just to keep the prison open. Because it's not like we're like, well, we'll do a plea deal if you like give up some of your buddies or if
right. They're not getting any information.
You work with the
out
CIA. Not that they're not already working for the CIA, but it didn't say anything about getting anything out of it, except for what's in it for us. We get to keep Guantanamo Bay open, and you know they're smirking and smiling, and like as they're saying it. It's like, guys, we kind of got to do this because what else are we supposed to do? Where can we keep them if we don't keep Guantanamo Bay open? Yeah. Where are we going to torture brown people and ultimately the white supremacists if we don't keep this open?
Right.
Shannon cracked up over your catapult them to Cuba comment. Another group, 9/11 Families for a Peaceful Tomorrow, has said that a guilty plea and agreement not to appeal the sentence would be partly in recognition of the torture each of the defendants experienced. Some measures of judicial finality. So it's like what I said. It's like, well, we kind of mistreated you a little, so we'll cut you a favor and not kill you too. Right. So, but if we're keeping Guantanamo Bay open, if it's not to torture them, why don't we just put them in a prison here?
Right. Yeah.
Like, why do we need to keep Guantanamo Bay?
Put them over
at
the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
Oh yeah.
I didn't think he was still alive. Huh. So that's Colorado. That is that. So you think we should let them live? Do you think? I mean, depending on how, again, not our 9/11 episode, but depending on what side of the fence you sit on with the whole narrative of it, it's like, is any of this even real?
Well, okay.
Are these people even in Guantanamo Bay? That's the real question.
Right. And if they are, and again, depending which narrative you go with, they're still accomplices, even if they didn't carry it out. I mean,
but are they?
Well, I mean,
or like I said,
or maybe somebody just said, "Hey, hold on to these plans for me," and someone's like, "Okay."
Again, are these people even real people, or is this just
right.
names and pictures?
You're absolutely right.
Like they Googled brown people and took like some stock photo and put it on.
Opened the Babylonian yellow pages and just picked a couple names out and said, "Yeah, we got him."
Yes, and just put their photo up and put some like brown sounding name on it, and they're like, these are the guys, we got them. And really there's no like 9/11 perpetrators there. It's just like people we feel like torturing that
well, anybody they feel is a danger to the state, probably. Right, brown, white, or yellow, green, and I mean whatever, that's where they send their problem children. The couple people they snagged off the street in Oregon are probably hanging out over there.
You think so?
I don't know. Did you ever hear about them coming back? Did you ever hear them say, well, that sucked?
That's fair. That is fair, I guess.
I mean, seriously, no one ever came out about it and said, well, this is what happened to me. I can't believe our government did this. Nobody.
That's fair. Maybe. You never know what's going on there. Maybe it's not even a prison. Maybe they're doing some kind of weird experiments there. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what they do there? I mean, it's pretty tight sealed lips when it comes to Guantanamo Bay. So I don't know. So It's been reformed, though, since the Obama days, obviously.
Sure,
so.
obviously he changed it all.
Let's move on. We got to keep moving. Speaking of, I mean, I'd consider this an act of terrorism in a way. A man beheaded his baby mama in front of the neighbors. And apparently he was an illegal immigrant with an expired visa. Either it doesn't matter.
Well,
I hate
you know what? If abortion was still legal, he wouldn't have needed to do that.
What? What does that have to do with abortion?
Well, because if she got the abortion, wasn't his baby mama, he wouldn't have had to cut off her head.
Why did he cut off her head?
I don't know. Probably
because she had the baby, or
probably.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some connection there.
It's probably drug cartel related.
What I really hate, though, is that they obviously the right has a problem with illegal immigration, and fine, whatever. But I hate when they have to tie, the guy was an illegal immigrant on an expired visa.
Yeah.
It's like, either way, it fucking sucks.
Right.
I don't care if you came in this country illegally or you were born right there in the middle of the street.
Right.
Of whatever,
right? Yeah,
U.S.
beheading
town.
somebody.
You
is
chop
beheading
somebody's head off.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
That
it.
takes you
worse.
to the next level.
Yeah, but I mean, they push it. It's like, well, look at all this.
I mean, they do
bad-
that all the time. It's like, Jorge Rodriguez, who was an illegal alien, was drunk driving this weekend. It's like
if he would have been back in Mexico, this never would have happened.
if he had his green card, he probably wouldn't have drunk drove.
Right. Yeah, it just obviously turns this into a political thing instantly.
Well, it's like that. Who's that girl that got killed not too far from here? Where
I
they
can't
just
think
had
of
the
her
big
name. Yeah.
and they made a big deal about the fact that kid was an illegal immigrant.
and he didn't kill her.
Yeah,
just so
no,
you know. He
it
didn't
was a
kill
police
her.
officer. I'm
No,
sure it was.
It was something connected to some like senator or state politician or something. I'm pretty sure, or a police officer. It was a big cover up.
Anyways, the kid didn't do it, but they made a big point of the fact that he was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, I just like how this headline is: a man beheaded a mother and he was an illegal immigrant.
Right.
Like, that's the worst part.
Yeah,
the
right.
worst part of this
Yeah.
is his illegal
It's like,
his
I was
immigration
fine with
status.
it until he was an illegal immigrant.
Right. We need more. Like we need to stop giving our beheadings over to like the immigrants.
Right.
Says Thursday morning, a young mother of 2 was beheaded in front
Well,
of.
Americans are too lazy to do it themselves.
That's fair. We hire illegal immigrants. On Thursday morning, a young mother of 2 was beheaded in front of horrified witnesses in San Carlos, California. The suspect, identified as Jose Landeta Solano.
But I promise you that none of them helped. They all filmed with their cell phone.
Yeah, no shit. It's like.
It's like, don't do that.
Says Jose Landeta Solano severed his ex's head with what with what was described as a samurai sword. That is insanity. Solano has a violent criminal past, says NBC Bay Area. The victim, who has not been identified at the time, had a restraining order against Solano, according to the outlet.
Never get a restraining order. I learned that in criminal justice.
Well, it seems like if you get a restraining order, you
gun.
end up dying.
Yes. Yeah, well, because they get it, and then they're like, oh, I thought we were close, but now you don't want me around you 50 feet?
Yeah,
I'm
let me
gonna have
chop
to
your
kill
head
you.
off. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the fatality rate for women who get restraining orders against the men.
Like you said, get a fucking gun.
Yeah.
But she's in California too, so
Oh, yeah.
and she
You'd have to
possibly has like postpartum depression, so where
Right,
they're
right.
not going to let her have a gun because
Sure.
she has a history of mental something, like we talked about with I can't think of her name now.
Carrie.
Carrie, yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie. I can't think of her last name, but
It's
Carrie. Says on Sunday, PJ Media identified the victim and reported that the suspect is an illegal alien. The young mother who was brutally beheaded last Thursday has been identified as 27-year-old Karina Castro. Castro was beheaded with a sword just before noon last Thursday in broad daylight as shocked neighbors watched. It is shocking to hear things like this in the United States. I mean,
Yeah.
you hear about a mass shooting and you're just like, yeah, it's another mass shooting. But then you hear a lady was beheaded in broad daylight.
Right.
She's like, what fucking country are we in?
Right? Yeah, no doubt.
It says the attack took place in front of her apartment building. I mean, you got to have some freaking balls to just hack somebody's head off
on the
in broad
street.
daylight in the
Yeah,
middle of the road.
with people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alleged killer reportedly cut off Castro's head with a sword. He left her head under the car that her body was in. Cops swarmed in minutes later to find the grisly crime scene. Shortly after, Landeta returned to the location with 2 friends and was promptly arrested. I mean,
Why would he? What was he wanting to collect the body in the head?
My guess is he
what
was
kind of friends are those? What do you say to them? Hey guys, I got to go pick up a body in the head. Can you help me out?
I mean, like you mentioned before the show started, cartel
Right.
relations, because that's the only thing that
Right.
sounds to possibly make
right. Well, that's
sense
kind
with
of a
something like
cartel
this.
MO.
Yeah. It's either an ISIS MO or a cartel, and we
Right.
found out he's Hispanic, so it narrows it down
Exactly.
to cartel.
Exactly. Which side of the pond?
It says Landeta is the father. Landeta is the father of Castro's 1-year-old toddler. Castro also had a 7-year-old daughter. The Santa Monica Observer is reporting Landeta was in the country illegally, claiming he came to the United States from Venezuela 10 years ago on a tourist visa and never left. It says, every time I saw her, this is the dad speaking, every time I saw her, I would beg her, don't talk to him, leave him. And it seemed like the more I did, the more she would see him.
That's how it works, Dad. Trust me.
Yeah, what you got to do is act like you love the guy.
And you want him to come over for dinner.
Yeah.
And then she won't want to have anything to do with him.
Right, and you like take him out and play golf with him and shit, and
Yes.
then I mean, he doesn't seem like the golfing type though.
No,
Most golfers don't
Well, never.
wield
I'm not going to say that.
say it. Just say it.
Well, apparently he had a great swing.
It's all in the
What the
hips.
hell?
It's all in the hips. God, we are terrible humans. Terrible humans. Shannon says, "LOL, baby Craig. Why, baby Craig? Okay." On point though. Mass shootings are expected, but not beheadings. I mean, it's true. It's very true. And it's always like comes back to, like you said, it's got to be ISIS or cartel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only options. You don't
Right.
get. I'm gonna, not to sound racist, but how many white supremacists do you see running around wielding samurai swords?
Okay.
Because that would be. I mean,
That's some Highlander shit right there. So he'd probably be like a 90s nerd fanboy.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
fair. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
There's more to it than what they're saying.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. You know, again, that's just not something you do, right? Unless there's something else involved.
So, yeah, usually you find out, hey, they had like some kind of cartel or drug
Right, she was
trafficking
probably
connections.
an informant.
Yeah, and they
right?
found out something,
Yeah.
and they're like, you got to get rid of her. It's not typically, and I'm not gonna say never, because you see ex-boyfriends go nuts and like shoot up their wives or beat the skulls in with a baseball bat or something.
Yeah.
And I guess if he was a nerd Highlander fanboy type,
Right. He
That-
carry a katana blade.
that, yeah, maybe he's carrying around a samurai sword, and that's his only method. Again, you're in California, so there's less access to guns. Maybe we gotta have a samurai sword ban,
Oh,
like tactical sword bans.
yeah.
I mean,
that's
it
something
makes
Newsom
most
needs
sense.
to look at.
Seriously, so I don't know. There's got to be something here. More, maybe not. Maybe we're just
Possibly.
just-
That's just
it's just a
us.
crazy
Yeah,
guy
right. And he
that
just,
wanted to kill his ex-wife, and
Right.
that was the closest
he
thing
saw his
had.
buddy had a sword, and he's like, "Hey, can I borrow that?"
Yes. So let's keep going. Apparently, there was another human trafficking sting in Florida, and then they seem to keep going on in Florida, which is interesting to me. I mean, you do have like DeSantis there, who is kind of pushing against a lot of things, and more. I don't know. More. I don't know where I'm going to go with this because I'll get myself in trouble. So, anyway.
Whoa. Continue.
So, I don't. If I'm not the type of conspiracy theorist that thinks it's all like one-sided, like all the Democrats are
Right,
pedophiles.
right.
So, but if you are that, I could see how you would be like, well, DeSantis is fighting Trump's fight, like drain the swamp, get rid of all the human traffickers, and
Right.
he's taking out you know what I'm saying. So, I'm not saying Democrats are the pedophiles. I'm
What if
saying they're
there's-
all the pedophiles.
What if there's competing bands of pedophiles, and then these pedophiles want to take out these pedophiles so that they can have more kids for themselves?
pedophile wars?
Yes.
God,
That sounds horrible.
that's fucked up. So there was a human trafficking sting that involved the arrest of, I think it was 160 people.
It's impressive.
Now, This happened last time there was a sting in Florida. It came out that several of them were employees of Disney World. And this happens to be the case again. Apparently,
Really?
2 of them at least were employees of Disney World. This sheriff,
Does it
this
say,
Florida sheriff,
What roles they play?
I'm
Is it like Goofy and
I'm not sure. It's a small world ride because that's a creepy ride
That is
where
a
they just
creepy ride,
snatch
yes.
children anyway. So all the kids working, they're not robots. They're just kids that were trafficked. God, you're horrible. This sheriff, though, this Florida sheriff, I'm pretty sure he's going to disappear or be offed or be suicided because he says, "Oh yes, we always have Disney employees." In response to this latest human trafficking sting. So this is from Gateway Pundit, so it's super right wing anyway. So, but it says during the press conference, it says Polk County Sheriff Gracie Judd told reporters a Disney worker was arrested in the sting. During the press conference, Sheriff Judd cracked a smile when he reported that Disney also had 2 employees arrested during the sting. So the first says 1, the second sentence says 2. So I don't know. He says, where's the response? Oh, here we go. He says, "Where would we be with an undercover operation and no Disney employees? Oh, yes, we always have Disney employees."
Wow.
So, I don't know what you think about that statement because, Disney and DeSantis have a bit ongoing feud.
Right. Yeah.
So is he like a right-wing, like DeSantis supporter, or do you really believe what he's saying, where it's just like, oh yeah, Disney's always fucking involved in these things.
I think it was just a smart ass, tongue-in-cheek comment. Like, yeah, we always have Disney people involved, and so
it seems to be the case though, because
it does, and yeah, but I don't think he's sitting either side of the fence on that. I just think he was just being a smart ass.
What is interesting though is they never point out any of the other industries that had people involved, because 2 out of 160 happen to be Disney employees.
Right.
Yes, there happens to be an ongoing feud between Florida and Disney, so we got to point out the fact that Disney.
Right, you're right. I mean, it's not like he's like, yeah, well, we may have 2 Disney, but we got 5 Walmart workers.
Yeah,
I mean,
we got 17
Lobster.
YMCA lifeguards.
Right.
It's always the YMCA. It says 160 people were arrested by the Polk County Sheriff's Office, Vice, during a 7-day undercover human trafficking operation. Fall Hall 2 was the name of the operation.
Wow.
Fall Hall 2.
They need a committee.
Which began on Tuesday. It says PCSO was assisted in the effort by police department from Winter Haven, Haines City, Lake Wales, Davenport, and Bartow, as well as the Office of the State Attorney, 10th Judicial Circuit, State Attorney Brian Haas, members of the Florida Department of Children and Families, and social services organizations. That's a lot of people involved.
That's a lot of involvement.
One More Child, Heartland. Okay, I don't need to name off all the. There's a lot of groups involved here. Those who traveled to provide prostitution services were screened by detectives and the social services organizations to determine if they were being trafficked or exploited by others. So they're picking up prostitutes, like hookers, it sounds like,
Gotcha.
and they would screen them. They get picked up by a detective who probably after he got his services, he'd ask her. That's probably how it worked. Ask them if they were trafficked or not. And that was this whole
That was
sting
the screening
operation.
process?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
It says all prostitutes taken into custody were offered services by social service organizations at the operation. Follow-up will be conducted with those who are suspected to be sex trafficked or exploited. The online prostitution industry enabled traffickers and allows for the continued victimization of those who are being trafficked. Our goal is to identify victims, blah, 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 blah.
Okay,
blah.
wait. Not to downplay the operation.
Uh-huh.
But if you were a prostitute that just got picked up and you had a choice of either going to jail or saying that you were trafficked.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's
Right?
a fair point there.
So,
Well,
I'm
it
just
does
saying.
say all the prostitutes were offered CPS, like not CPS,
Social services.
social service
Okay.
type services.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't sound like they were gonna like threatening
Either
jail
or.
time. Yeah,
Okay.
you either work with us or you go to jail.
Right. Okay. Okay.
It says some interesting notes from the operation. 26 of those arrested told detectives that they are married. Who fucking cares? Detectives charged those arrested with a total of 52 felonies and 216 misdemeanors. Holy shit.
Wow. I have heard that there are cases where husbands traffic their wives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It says criminal histories of everyone arrested include 419 previous felonies and 619 previous misdemeanors. Some of the prior histories include charges for kidnapping, robbery, aggravated battery, and sex offenses. Why are these people out on the streets doing this anyway?
Right.
Well, we see, side note, have you seen, I've seen the memes going around. I don't know how true this new Illinois law that's supposed to take effect
I
next
saw
year.
that, yes.
That's like these different
Yes. Non-prosecutable.
not non-prosecutable, but not like you can get out free
Yeah, right,
without
without going
paying
to jail.
bail,
Yeah.
without like await your trial
Right,
outside
right, yeah,
without paying
yeah.
like zero bail. Let me look this up. Illinois
No, Shannon. It's
zero
not.
bail. Which part is she referring to? She asked, "Is that a confession bill?" Which part was that? Oh, you. I've heard. I have a friend who knows a guy that trafficked his wife. I mean, that
not personally.
that may add up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to find this meme. This Illinois meme. If you have the Illinois meme, send it our way of the Illinois laws that are going to be non-prosecutable. But it was
Did I
like
send that to you?
somebody sent it to me, or I sent it to you. Maybe I sent it to you. But I send you lots of things.
Yes.
The stupid thing about all of this is, like, some of the things are like battery
Yeah.
or like second-degree homicide.
Yeah, it was
and
like
things.
serious
Yeah,
stuff.
it was like, but never on that list was drug charges. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
No,
like
that's true, yeah.
non-violent charges
Yeah.
were not on this, but
That's
very
ridiculous.
violent charges were very much on this list.
Yeah.
And so it's just it blows my mind. And then you get things like this where it's just like, oh, there's sex trafficking that's going around, and oh yeah, they happen to have charges of kidnapping and sex crimes in the past, and like multiple felonies and shit. But yeah, we might as well just let them go.
Right.
I'm not seeing that one. Probably way back. Like I said, I send you a lot of shit. Anyway,
Yeah.
we get the point though. It's just like so ass backwards that that we would choose to keep drug felons or drug charges in jail, but let violent criminals,
Yeah.
seriously, severely violent criminals, and kidnapping was on that Illinois list. Battery was on that list. It was ridiculous.
Here it is.
You found it?
Illinois non-detainable offenses.
Resend that. I'll
All
pull
right.
it up. Again, correct us if we're wrong on this. And this has nothing to do with that, but it ties into what we're talking about. So let me share the screen up. Everything's going
Well,
slow.
and okay, so Overland Sheep, right? Who's
Yeah.
a company we're familiar with.
I don't know if we should mention company names right here, but all right.
Anyways, they used to have a warehouse in Chicago,
Uh-huh.
right? And the reason they moved to the small town that they moved to was because they had been robbed like 3 or 4 times, and Chicago would not do anything about it.
Yeah.
So they got tired of having to put up with being robbed all the time and the police refusing to do anything. And so that's why they moved where they moved.
So here's that list. Illinois non-detainable offenses. So you don't have to pay bail. You just kind of wait out your till your court date scot-free. Aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary.
It's funny because in other cities you get shot for one of those.
It's true. Burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, and threatening a public official. Apparently, none of those.
So if you were to threaten Lori Lightheart, you would be okay.
Oh no! Don't no. That would be a hate crime. So
Oh,
no,
gotcha,
no.
okay,
That
okay.
hate crime is not on this
Oh,
list
gotcha.
here. So
Of course.
but again, it says drug-induced homicide, but it
Yeah,
doesn't say
right.
drug offense.
Second degree.
Doesn't say drug
murder, yeah.
possession on here
Yeah,
anywhere.
right?
It's such an ass backward system. But again, back to what we were talking about, that these people had previous arrests. 15 it said criminal histories included charges for kidnapping, robbery. I guess they're probably from Illinois, so that's why
Right,
they're
there
out.
you go.
Aggravated battery. All these are on that list. And the only one that's not is sex offenses, but all those are on that Illinois list. So I guess we can expect this to become a thing in Illinois too. Says 16 suspects lived in that county. 15 were from other states, and one was from Puerto Rico. You had Georgia, Michigan, New York, California, Mississippi, just all across the board. 12 suspects told detectives they receive government assistance. Who fucking cares? Detectives seized cocaine.
That means they're not very good at their job.
Yes. Detectives seized cocaine, heroin, meth, MDMA, which is ecstasy, and marijuana from those arrested during the operation. So they had drugs on them as well. So there's that. Okay. So, again, this isn't the first time this happened. And, yes, they do point out that 2 of them were from Disney.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, his comment was hilarious to me. But,
yeah. Right.
Again, this goes back to what we were saying about the guy beheading the lady. And they're like, and
yeah,
he was an illegal immigrant.
Right.
You know,
like that's
like this.
bad.
It's just like,
yeah.
26 people arrested for human sex trafficking, and 2 of them were from Disney. And it's just like, look at Disney. They're this horrible company. It's just like there's just a bunch of bad dudes.
Right. Yeah.
There's bad dudes on
everywhere. They work everywhere. Yeah.
And I'm not surprised. You work as a carny, you're going to have some bad eggs as
I
carnies.
thought Disney was like a level up from Carney. Like Carney's here.
Is it
Disney,
though?
I'm just thinking it seemed like more like the big time, like the pros, like the major league.
You've made it as a carny once you graduated to
Once
Disney
you've gone to
World.
Disney, man, that's the pros.
So what's the top of the line, like the top notch, the top rung of the ladder when in Disney World? There is that like playing Mickey Mouse?
Oh yeah, that's Mickey
think
Mouse.
so?
Yeah, you're king of it once you're Mickey Mouse.
Do you think they get in fights? They're like, dude, it was my turn to play Mickey Mouse,
Right.
and I've been doing this for 35
Yeah.
years, and he's been here for 31 years. How come he gets to play Mickey Mouse? You know, what's
I'm
happening.
sure there's definitely egos.
Well, there is the human trafficking charges you got last year. I mean,
Yeah,
there
right.
is that.
If you didn't get those, you could have been Mickey.
Oh my god. All right. So we can tie this next story to the sex trafficking and the unjustified murder ones. This being the death of the queen.
There's a lot there.
I feel there's quite the
There's a lot
connection there. So I don't want to. Yeah, I'll say it. There's plenty of connection to
You
be
can say
made
it.
there. Yeah,
This
might
is
as well.
America. This isn't
Yeah.
England.
This ain't England. Speaking of sex trafficking and unjustified murders, Queen Elizabeth died this week, which is the biggest thing. This is bigger news than 9/11. There are way more articles on every single news station
right.
about the death of Queen Elizabeth.
I'm sure
than
Biden will
9/11.
come out today and he'll say something about Queen Elizabeth, but he won't say anything about 9/11.
Yeah, probably. He's like, this is the worst tragedy in America since Pearl Harbor.
It would not surprise me at all.
So this part here seems fake, like most of the royal life.
Yeah, right.
Apparently, there was a double rainbow over Buckingham Palace after the death of Queen Elizabeth. Here's the image.
Yeah.
Do you think it's real? You think they photoshopped it?
They photoshopped
You
that
think-
shit, man.
Like, come on.
Yeah, they don't get rainbows in England.
Well, that and I feel like maybe.
Well, but that's I mean,
maybe God was like, thank me that she's finally dead.
right.
Here, I did this for you. I'll give you a rainbow to promise the world that
I will never put another.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's probably.
I think so too. Yes, but instead we have Meghan Markle.
Yes. So this is from Fox News. It says Queen Elizabeth II, England's longest reigning British monarch, died Thursday at Balmoral Castle, her country estate in Scotland. As people gathered around Buckingham Palace to grieve, a beautiful double rainbow appeared in the sky. What an inspiring backdrop for a worldwide and difficult time of mourning and loss, said Pastor Jesse Bradley, leader of Grace Community Church in the Seattle area of Washington. Who fucking cares what he
Why did they interview him?
Yeah.
What does he have to do with anything? Is he the illegitimate child of Queen Elizabeth
probably.
II?
One of them. Calling Queen Elizabeth to a gift to all nations, he said that God also gives us many timely gifts in creation, like double rainbows that go beyond what humans can plan or manufacture. So the Queen, colonizer, possibly baby eater, was a gift to all nations. A gift of what? What did she do that was so amazing to all the nations?
She had a good part in Minions.
My real question is, what fucking role do the monarchs even play anymore?
Well,
Besides pomp and circumstance and show.
And that's it. And that's it.
And draining the fucking tax dollars from the Britons. You want to know why their taxes are so high?
Yeah.
Look at all the estates that are being paid for these stupid British royals.
In Scotland. Yeah, but this plays to the whole narrative of that monarchs are put in place divinely, right? I mean, isn't that they're installed by God, basically, and that's what this whole double rainbow thing is supposed to kind of play into, I mean, and I mean when you think about it, okay, I mean the Queen, any Queen, but of England, but particularly this one, I mean, saw the whole world shift. And like
so many times, probably 4 different times.
Well, yeah, but if you go along with any conspiracy theory we've talked about in Secret Group, she was most likely a part of that.
Not most likely, she definitely was. Part of that. Yeah, she was in the inner circle. She's she's kind of a lizard person, I would think.
If anybody is, she is.
I mean, look at that. Can you say that she's
got
not
beady
a lizard?
eyes.
she's got lizard eyeballs for sure. Anyway, keep going.
Anyways, I mean, it just plays on to that myth. But yeah, she definitely was not anybody that. But there are people that believe that the monarchs are basically God.
Sure, I guess.
Brits.
Apparently, Pastor Bradley from Seattle, Washington.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there are people that, will stop their day and take off of work so they can watch monarchs get married. Right, or baptism of little monarch children.
Who fucking cares?
I agree. I'm totally indifferent about the whole thing.
So Pastor Bradley said that the rainbows are great significance biblically. Who cares?
They're not
Who
double
cares?
rainbows.
Anyway, it says he goes on to say, man, they really interviewed him for a while, calling the Queen's life one incredible dignity.
Maybe he must be like a monarch enthusiast. Maybe that's why.
Something, I don't know. Maybe he just got a chance to get on the spotlight, and so she died. I mean, I was in shock when she died because I had just read a post like a couple hours earlier that somebody that was like, they're keeping an eye on her. They're really keeping an eye on her physicians and stuff. And it's just like, oh, well, we've been speculating that she was on her way out the door. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, I opened up YouTube and it gives all the recommendations when you first open up the home screen. And it was like, Queen Elizabeth II has died. I was like, what? Holy shit. She actually died? I didn't think that was... What, did they run out of freaking baby's blood in Europe, or what happened? That's the major shortage, is the baby's blood shortage in Europe right now.
Right.
So,
no, I was indifferent to it. Actually, when I had heard about Mikhail Gorbachev dying a couple weeks ago, I was more sad about that than about this.
Gorbachev died?
Yeah.
I did not
You didn't know that?
I
Yeah.
didn't know he's still alive, to be honest. So
there you go.
I'm indifferent to that, too. So, but he probably did more for the world than Queen Elizabeth.
Right, yeah.
So there's the majority of the chatter that's going around about Queen Elizabeth's death has to do with the falling out between Harry and his brother, and then Meghan Markle splitting up the family because she's black and everything. So
that's the reason.
I mean, that's the only reason.
Yeah.
I mean, she
not
came
because
out,
she's the most annoying person in the world.
She's the most annoying person in the world. But Did you hear about? And I remember her interview that they came out. I think it was on Oprah where they
I
were
think
kind of
so,
bashing on the royals.
Right.
That probably sealed the nail in the coffin.
A little bit, yeah. Well,
No
that
pun
and the fact
intended.
that she talked one of the heirs to the throne into dropping his title and
No,
moving
no.
overseas.
She nagged. You know, she nagged
Oh,
him.
she nagged the shit out of
Nagged
him.
the
You saw
piss
her
out of
on
him.
Suits. Mike was about ready to hang himself.
I was about ready to hang myself for him. So, yeah, there's this whole thing. Well, anyway, back to her Oprah interview. Apparently, I didn't realize this, but apparently she had said that there was chatter amongst the queen and people of, I wonder what color their baby's going to come out. Because they are, I mean, they are racist people. I guarantee
course.
it.
Oh, yeah.
And she is the first, like, biracial person to be kind of in that inner circle. And so, you know, as soon as Harry's like, I met somebody. Oh, who is it?
You ever
it's
watch
Meghan
Suits?
Markle. It's like, wait, she's an actress. Oh yeah, is it? Because was it? Who's the other princess?
Kate Middleton.
Yeah, she was an actress too.
I
Wasn't
don't know
she?
anything
She's
about
a
her.
something.
Yeah.
She was a model or something.
Probably.
I think. But yeah, they're like, oh, is it? You know, somebody white, obviously, and they're like Meghan Markle. And first, the queen was like, who?
Right.
Here, she's famous. She's on Suits. What? And then he shows her a picture, and she's like, oh.
But
What race is she? What color is she?
to be honest, looking at her, I would not think that she's any race other than white.
No, but she has used this as part of her reason why that she was never connected with them.
Well,
Not the
but,
fact
you know-
that she never owned up to the fact that she's an annoying piece of crap.
Right.
It was always, there's always this pressure because I'm biracial.
To be honest, that's what the monarchs get for moving away from incense. I'm just saying, you open the door up, you don't know who's coming into the family.
I know, yeah.
Right?
If you kept screwing your brothers and sisters,
You would not have surprises. I mean, except for the occasional kid that popped out with 6 fingers and
Occasional, probably most of them.
right.
So this one says, it's from Daily Wire, it says, here's really why Meghan Markle wasn't at the ailing queen's bedside. Because it was planned that she would be there with Harry, and then all of a sudden she wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it was probably because the old hag was like, I don't want that brown lady here.
She's like, no.
She was probably like getting more and more
Yeah.
like her like dementia kicking in or something, and like
my
her
gosh.
filter was going
Yeah.
away. And
Why is the slave girl here again? Harry, she keeps calling me that slave girl.
you know it. We're terrible, but you know it's true. You hear some like old, like
Yeah.
formerly racist people that still are racist, but they are just quiet about it. And once they get towards the ends of their life, just things come out, and it's
Yeah.
just like, Grandma, you cannot say
What
that.
was her husband's name again?
The
The
king
yeah.
or prince? Was it Charles? Charles?
No. His,
Charles
her
is the-
husband. Yeah. The one that
Fuck.
just died recently.
Prince. God, I can't remember.
I can't either.
What was his name? That's ridiculous. Prince.
That's how important these people are.
Prince something. Prince.
It's not Andrew because that's
no,
the other pedophile.
Yes, that's the pedophile. Queen's husband. How about that? Husband. Man, we're terrible at this
I know.
news shit. And we're almost out of time. Prince Philip. There you
Prince
go.
Philip. I can see
Duke
her
of
be like,
Edinburgh.
why is that slave girl gone? I thought I got rid of her when I caught her screwing Philip.
Grandma.
That's my
that-
wife.
Wrong
Your wife
slave.
was screwing my husband?
Probably that too. That's why they actually left.
Yeah.
Was on his deathbed. So it says Meghan Markle made headlines Thursday when her husband, Prince Harry, traveled alone from London to Balmoral to visit his ailing grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. But according to a royal expert, the decision wasn't really up to Markle. Well, of course it's not up to you.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
your decision.
But I
because
really want to be there.
it's understood that the family wanted Prince Harry to be there, even though he wasn't able to get to Balmoral in time to see his grandmother. So he didn't even make it there in time to see his dying grandma. But Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, I thought they gave up those titles.
I thought they did too.
I'm almost positive they did. Was not there, we understand, invited to join the family. She has said she will go to Balmoral another time, But I think it's quite significant that Prince Harry traveled on his own without his wife. Notably, Meghan was reportedly alone in London while her children, Archie and Lilibet, remain at the family's home in Montecito, California, with their nanny. Kate Middleton, officially now the Princess of Wales since Princess Diana, also did not make the journey. There's a comma there. Since Princess Diana also didn't make the journey. It's comma. Kate Middleton did not make the journey to Balmoral, but reports said it was because she was with her children on the first day of school. So hers wasn't, I wasn't invited. Hers was, I got other shit to do. Yeah. Meghan's was like, I want to go. It's like, well, sorry, you're not invited.
They're like, Harry, we got you a ticket to come see Grandma. Oh, great. Just one ticket.
Shit. Markle and Prince Harry have distanced themselves from the royal family in recent years, giving up royal titles, so why are we still calling them that?
I know.
And throwing out charges of racism. Alternatively, rumors about Markle bullying royal aides popped up in the media.
Wait, what?
Apparently she bullied
bullied.
Aides.
Okay, I was thinking, I thought he said boned.
And yes, that too.
That's real journalism.
In July, an investigation into allegations concluded, but findings are being kept under wraps, allegedly because Buckingham Palace is terrified of antagonizing Meghan and Prince Harry, who routinely trashed all things royal. So I don't think they're terrified. I think they're just like, we don't want this again. It's not like Meghan Markle is that famous that she has that big of a...
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, she wasn't famous until she became...
Yeah, she's like a fourth-tier celebrity, right?
Yeah, again, she wasn't famous until she married Prince Harry, and that was the closest thing. So we got to wrap this up, but we got to mention some... because you talked about how a lot of the people over here are like...
Yeah.
Head over heels, like into the royal family shit. Well, apparently not all of them, because apparently when the Queen is dead comments came out, people were horrified, but not because they loved Queen Elizabeth so much, but because they thought Queen Latifah had died. Is that not the most fucking American
That is the most American thing
you've ever heard.
I'd be like, the king is dead. What? Burger King's closing?
Elvis is dead?
Yeah, right.
Elvis, we thought Elvis already died.
Yeah.
So this is from TMZ. It says, the death of Queen Elizabeth has caused confusion in America because apparently lots of folks were wiping away tears thinking another queen had passed. Queen Latifah has been trending for more than a day, according to Hip Hop DX, because lots of folks thought she was the one that left the earth. Think about it. If you were playing Family Feud and the clue was most famous queen, the number one answer would clearly be Queen Elizabeth II, but Latifah came in a strong second. I would think
in America.
I think the band would come in.
I was going to say, a band is the first thing that come to my mind.
According to the outlet, the whole thing started after someone tweeted, I told my mama the Queen died. She talking about Latifah. It became a game of telephone, and the rumor spread like wildfire. Another group tried to reassure the panicked that the beloved 52-year-old actress, rapper, was still alive and well. Funny enough, Latifah told James Corden a while back about her 1996 hit Set It Off. She put a no-death clause in her acting contract so she couldn't get killed off in future flicks. When I first started doing movies, who fucking cares?
Oh my gosh, but that answers a huge plot hole that came up because I thought she died in The Bone Collector because the murderer came up behind her. And I thought he killed her, but I guess she lived.
I've never seen it. But
because
yeah, she has a no-death clause. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Shannon
she
says...
was actually good in that movie.
Who wants to live forever? What is...
Oh, that's Queen.
That
that's a Queen reference.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
From Highlander. Ha ha!
There you go.
I am a Highlander nerd.
We are like circling back through this, like Jen Psaki. Rest in peace. God rest her soul. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from her in a while.
Let's just assume she's dead.
Yes. So what do you think would be more tragic, Queen Latifah dying or Queen Elizabeth dying?
They're kind of on the same level with
for
me.
you. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'd have more respect for Queen Latifah than, even though I don't give two shits about Queen Latifah.
My problem with Queen Latifah is that she is trying to redo the Equalizer TV show on CBS, which was a good show in the 80s, and it's a horrible rendition with her as the lead.
So, but But if you put the two side by side, it's like more rap hits, definitely Queen Latifah over Queen Elizabeth.
Do we know? I bet you she has some in England.
Possibly. Let's see. Best acting roles, I'd say Queen Latifah probably takes the cake on that.
Maybe.
Babies murdered, babies blood drank. I'm gonna have to throw in my
I'll go
hat
with
to
Queen
Elizabeth.
No,
Yeah,
you're right
so
on that. You're right. Yes.
so I'm gonna have to say that Queen Latifah comes out on top of my or give more of a shit if they died. It would be Queen Latifah, even though I don't care about Queen Latifah.
Right.
At least she wasn't drinking the baby blood.
Because who was the last big celebrity that died? I don't remember. I think
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
But it was
Betty White was one of the really popular.
But it was sadder than either of these queens.
Oh yeah. Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
So
I did see a thing. It was a picture of Elton John. It's like, now the oldest queen in England.
yeah, right.
That's all the time we have. That's more than the time that we have for this episode. I mean, do you care that the queen died? Did you give two shits? Like,
no, I guess the biggest thing is that it is kind of an end of an era, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, King Charles III.
Yeah, and
now is
they've
installed.
actually started asking questions like, what does this mean for the monarch? Because people are
Right.
calling for like the dissolution, the
Right, yeah.
dissolvement of the monarchy. Now it's like they were just hanging on. It's like we kind of like Queen Elizabeth, so let's not get rid of it now.
Yeah.
But we don't really care
Yeah,
about
King
Charles.
Charles?
I mean,
Come
he's
on.
kind of a dick.
You're
So
right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we don't need this anymore.
Right.
I mean, how many tax dollars are we paying to keep
Right.
them like
Yeah.
rich?
Why do they have a palace and crown jewels and
Yeah.
shit?
We're going hungry.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, Oliver Twist. That's all I got to say.
Please, sir.
So yeah, I don't see it really going.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same.
Right.
I think they'll still hold on to their titles, but it'll just be like more of just a show than it already is. I don't think people are going to look to them for the advice. I think it's just going to be like a celebrity. It's like, well, I'm this.
But
this
you
thing.
bring up a good point. I mean, how much longer will it go until the world just decides we just don't need this anymore?
Why haven't they already? With
Well,
all the
yeah.
woke shit that's going on
Yeah.
right now, why haven't we just?
Right. I mean, and all the anger at colonialism.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense that this thing
Yeah.
still. I mean, it's not like they rule England.
Right. Yeah.
Like they
yeah.
have no political influence in England at all.
Yeah. It's just
supposedly they're not
Right.
supposed to have
Right,
any
right,
political
right.
influence.
Yeah.
It's all ceremonial, is all
right.
it is.
Supposed to be.
Supposedly, yes.
Yes.
Or maybe they'll become more politically influential
Well,
when
and that could be.
when Meghan Markle takes over.
Oh God.
Anyway, that's all the time we got for this not 9/11 episode on 9/11. So
Yes.
make sure you join us tomorrow night because we are going to dig some into 9/11. And by some, I mean we're going to probably go pretty weird. So put on your weird hats. If you're offended by 9/11 truthism, I'm sorry. We're not a conspiracy podcast,
That's
but
where we're going.
but I mean, we are. Our show is to expose like shitty things and like shitty organizations that have certain
Well, but-
controls and the things that brought those people
Yeah.
into control. And this is one of those things. Whether it's the government caused 9/11 or whether brown people did, they use that to take a form of control that we shouldn't have never given
I do
up.
want to encourage you, if you're watching this, and if you do stand by the original narrative, tune in with an open mind.
Yes.
And let us convince you. Okay.
If nothing else, just listen to the great fictional pieces that we will be reading. If you are dead set on it, just
but
listen.
I do think there's enough to question. I mean, I've come around. I it took me a while, but yeah. So I just want to say, come with an open mind.
Yes, do that because it's going to be fun and it's
Yeah.
probably going to get weird, and we'll see what we can do from there. And I mean, if you don't like it, fine. Listen to the next show. Like, skip to the next episode. But listen to the show. no disrespect towards any victims of 9/11, but
not at all.
mad disrespect to the people that carried this thing
That
out
perpetrated it.
or used this as a political tool
Yes.
to take over the world
Yes.
and rob us of our freedom. So that's all the time we got. Make sure you check us out all over social media. We are at Break the Bell Pod. Like, subscribe, all that fun, happy shit we tell you to do every single week. Be back here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for that post 9/11 party, I guess. Otherwise, check out our Two Scoops morning show. That's on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, which is where I team up with Dan Smotz of the System Is Down podcast. I almost said System of a Down. And it's been like 6 years, but
You do get down with the sickness.
that's not System of a Down. Not
All
at
right.
all, actually. That's Disturbed.
All right.
But
You are
all right.
disturbed.
I am, yes. Two Scoops morning show, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 a.m. if we feel like it. So check that out. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll catch you later.
Peace.
Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.